So today, like Megan said, we're going to be doing something called dual tasking, and I'll tell you what that is. I'll tell you why we're going to do it, and then I'll show you what that actually looks like in our workout. All right. So dual tasking, very much just like it sounds, is doing two tasks at once. In our situation today, our exercise situation, dual tasking is going to look like doing a physical task, so moving your body, and a cognitive or a brain task. So that could be counting, or it can be doing math problems, or even going through the alphabet, saying different words for the alphabet. So the reason why we do dual tasking while exercising, or what we call motor cognitive dual tasking, is because the research has actually shown that there may be an added benefit to our brain health in slowing cognitive decline when we do those two different activities at once. Now, just like Megan said, of course, we pick and choose what reduces our stress. So if we're doing dual tasking and it's kind of racking our brain and we're not really moving forward, that's okay. Put it aside and we'll just do that movement or that physical activity. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do our usual workout, which includes our warm-up, but we're going to throw in some different dual task exercises. So always follow along with me and choose what feels comfortable to your body. If you look at my space here, I just have a non-rolling chair, which is really important. Any chair that I use for modifications to my exercises, I want to make sure that chair doesn't slide around as I put my weight onto the chair, right? And if you notice too, I don't have any rugs or anything like that, so I don't catch my foot as I'm doing any movements. So follow along with me. Make sure you have something that you would like to drink to stay hydrated. I have my water with me. Feel free to grab something. And anytime during the workout, please feel free and grab some water, rehydrate, or take a break. I'll give that cue many times during our workout, but even if I don't give that cue, feel free, take that break, and jump back in when you're ready. All right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to start seated in my chair here. I'm just seated just to show that all the different movements that we're going to do today can be done seated or standing. So please listen to your body and see how you feel. You might start seated, like I am, or you might start standing, all right? Little tongue twister, dual tasking, right? You might start standing, or you might switch in between. Okay, so what I like to do, I like to start with a march in place. So I'm doing a seated march in place here, getting nice deep breaths in and out as I march. The key here is I just want to get the body moving. Everybody has different schedules. Maybe this is your first big physical activity today. Maybe you've been really physically active. Either way, we want to start from a ground level and move forward together, again, at your own pace. So I'm marching here, and I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. So I'm marching just a little bit faster. Whether I'm seated or standing, you can swing your arms or legs as you can, as comfortable. The key here is I'm moving my shoulders, moving at the shoulders, I'm moving at the hip, taking nice good steps. We're getting the blood flowing, we're getting the muscles warmed up, and in a little bit, we're gonna get the brain warmed up too. All right, a couple more seconds of this, then we'll move to a different movement in 3, 2, and 1. Next movement we're going to do, and I'll demonstrate this one seated and then standing, all right? We're going to do a side step. So if I'm seated, I'm stepping to the side and bringing my foot. Notice my feet are coming together. So I'm stepping open and bringing feet together. So side to side, all right? And notice I'm rotating my body. Now, if I'm standing up, I'm doing that same thing, but I'm stepping side to side, side to side. Now, I'm kind of using my chair as a guide to let me know that I'm stepping kind of wide. So I do want to emphasize that you want to try to work your body by stepping kind of wide, and I'm using that chair as my guide, all right? So seated or standing, you're stepping side to side. No arm movements yet, but we're going to engage them in a second, all right? Side to side. And another tip I want to give, and it sounds kind of obvious, or it sounds like we should all know, but I want you to breathe. All right, sometimes as we exercise, we tend to hold our breath. I want you to breathe as you move. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, we're still stepping side to side, whether you're seated or standing, but now we're going to reach in the direction that we're moving, okay? So adding a little complexity to this here, stepping side to side as we reach. Step and reach, step and reach. You guys keep going. Let me just show if I'm seated, I'm doing that same movement, stepping and reaching. So funny enough, this here is an example of a motor dual tasking movement. So we're doing two different body movements, all right? So that engages the brain a bit more than doing just a simple movement. All right, then we're gonna go back to just regular marching, still swinging our arms as we march. Again, seated or standing. And we're gonna do our first dual tasking game here. So as we march, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the letters of the alphabet, and we won't go through the whole one, but you'll get the point. Okay, we'll go through the letters of the alphabet, and as you march, I want you out loud at home to say a word for the letter of the alphabet. For instance, the letter A, Ayatoni, right? I had to use it, it's my name. But you get the point. As we keep going, I'll say the letter, I'll pause a bit, you try to say a word for that letter. And I'll say a word too. Let's do this together. Little dual tasking exercise here. Let's start over with A, alphabet. B, burger. C, cheesecake. D, delicious. E, elephant. F, fish. Let's do two more. G, gigantic. H, helicopter. All right, very good. All right, shake it out, shake it out. We're gonna do a couple different warm-up movements here. Just a quick example of dual tasking exercises. We got more coming up, all right? So back to our warm-up. If you're seated or standing, we're gonna start from the neck and make our way down. I'm gonna come up closer just to show you, okay? When we do our neck movements, I really want us to emphasize on slow, controlled movements, all right? So I'm looking upwards and downwards, so I'm breathing in, raising my neck up, breathing out, and looking down. All right, so you wanna move at your own pace, and you might not look as high or as low as I am, but the key is to move through your range of motion as you breathe, and you look upwards and downwards. All right, remember this can be done seated or standing. Let's continue. A couple more of these upwards and downwards movements. Looking upwards, breathing in, and breathing out as we look down. And last one. Very good. Coming back to center. So again, with all these movements, we want to do slow, controlled movements. Again, coming back close so you see, I'm about to turn my head side to side. Couple things here. You want to move slowly and controlled so you don't injure your neck, all right? So I'm going to turn to the side nice and slowly, then I'm going to turn to the other side. And notice I'm moving nice and slow, all right? I'm not going too fast, but I'm just allowing the neck to move through that range of motion. Again, making sure we're not holding our breath. Allow yourself to breathe as naturally as you can during this movement. All right, one more on both sides. And other side, and then we'll pause in the middle. All right, very good. Last one we'll do for the neck, we're actually gonna bring the ear to the shoulder. Okay, so especially with this movement, you wanna be gentle to your neck. You don't wanna move too quickly so you don't hurt your neck. All right, so we're bringing ear to shoulder, and then ear to other shoulder. Keep going side to side here. Nice gentle neck movements. And last one on both sides. And pause in the middle. All right, shake it out. We're gonna move down to the shoulders now. So for the shoulders, we're gonna do a shoulder shrug. So when I shrug, right, my shoulders are coming up. So we're gonna go fast first, fast meaning I'm gonna shrug up and then drop my shoulders down, and then we're gonna slow it down. So let's do fast first. Remember, you can do this seated or standing. We're gonna breathe in and shrug up, and then exhale and let the shoulders down. Again, breathing in and letting them down. Two more, breathe in. And last one, breathe in. Very good. We're going to go slow this time. So watch, we're going to breathe in slowly and exhale slowly. Lower the shoulders down. Three more of those. Slow up, slow down. Two more. Slow up and slow down. And last one, up and down. Very good. Shake out the arms. Very good, very good. Next thing we're going to do a torso twist. So our torso, we're going to be rotating side to side. And notice as I rotate, I want to allow my arms to rotate through that motion. Okay, so I'm rotating side to side, and I'm going to step back so now you can actually see, not only am I rotating my upper body, but I'm coming up onto my toes. All right, so that's if I'm seated, if I'm seated, we're doing that similar movement. Again, coming up onto your toes as you rotate. And again, moving to your body's comfort. So if coming up to your toes is just a bit much for right now, that's okay. Just get that rotation. See here how I'm just doing a nice rotation upwards. And if I can, I'm coming up to my toes. A couple more rotations here. And last ones, both sides. And we'll pause in the middle. Shake out the arms again. All right, next thing we're gonna do, and I'm gonna start seated here and then be standing, okay? So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to sit and reach, and I'm gonna reach up overhead. All right, I call this my box lift. So if you're seated, that's what that looks like. If you're standing, again, you're reaching down and reaching up overhead. Before you start, let me show you a couple things. I'll turn to the side, all right? As I'm reaching down, this is almost like a squat movement if I'm standing, all right? You wanna push your hips back. Your knees should not come forward past your toes. So actually look at your knees and your toes as you do this movement. All right, let me demonstrate first. Okay, so I'm reaching back. Notice the hips are coming back. The knees are over my toes. Then I'm coming up overhead. And then doing that same movement again. Reaching down, hips are coming back, knees are over toes. And then I'm coming up overhead. If I'm seated, I'm doing that same motion. I'm reaching forward, coming upwards, okay? All right, so we're gonna do several of these, what I call box lifts. It's a nice full body movement. That way we just warm up the whole body to prepare us for our workout, all right? This is part of the warm up, right? We get a nice in-depth warm up before we get into our movements. All right, let's do that, box lift. I'll start seated and then I'll do some standing ones, all right? Remember, move between whatever you feel comfortable. If you wanna do all of them seated or all of them standing, it's completely up to you. Let's start, ready, and reach, and up, reach, up. And if I'm moving too fast, feel free to slow down. Remember, this is the warm up. You want to move your body to get yourself warmed up. You don't want to tire yourself out just yet. All right, I'm gonna switch to standing after this one here. I'm gonna switch. You guys keep going to whatever is comfortable. And 2 more. And last one. All right, very good. We got all the boxes up on the shelf, right? Let's march in place what we call our active rest. So instead of just sitting and kind of waiting, we're marching in place, keeping the engine running, keeping the blood flowing, right? And I have another dual tasking game for you guys here in a second. In 3, 2, and 1. All right, very good. So for our dual tasking game, we're gonna do a couple math problems, very simple math problems. Again, this is just an example that's to give you guys an idea of what dual tasking could look like for you at home. Remember, the goal for us here is not to make you rely on us, but to give you tools that you can use out in the community, tools that hopefully you can enjoy and that can reduce stress and potentially slow down cognitive decline, right? So for our math dual tasking game here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna imagine I have a line on the floor, okay? So my line on the floor, and you can have an actual line, maybe you're using something in your rug, if you're on a rug, or maybe you put like a maybe pillow down or something, but I'm just imagining that I have a line on the floor and I'm gonna ask some simple math problems, all right? The math problems, I'm gonna pay attention to whether they're even or odd. If the answer is even, I'm gonna step to this side of my imaginary line, or your real line if you have one. If the answer to the math problem is odd, I'm gonna step to this side of the problem. All right, you see how we're kind of engaging the body and the mind at the same time. Okay, so again, if the answer is even, we step to this side. If the answer is odd, we step to this side. All right, simple math problem, nothing crazy, no super crazy division or anything like that, all right? Addition, subtraction, math problems, ready. Remember, even on this side, odd on this side. Our first problem, let's do this together. 10 minus 8. I'll give you a second. This side, all right? So remember, we're looking for if it's even or odd. All right, so I'm gonna go back. All right, 5 minus 3. All right, even. Keep it going. I'm gonna reset every time. How about 6 minus 3? All right, odd. Very good. I'm resetting. How about 3 plus 7? Even. Let's do 2 more. Let's reset each time. How about 6 minus 2? Even. And last one. How about 10 minus 7? And odd for that one. All right, very good. We'll reset and we'll march in place again. All right, so little games like that, we call them cognitive games during our classes here at CEP. Little games like that have the effect of potentially slowing down your cognitive decline, even more than just doing exercise or just doing cognitive training. All right, so you're kind of doing a little bit of both. And you could, and I emphasize that word could, get a little bit of an added benefit doing those things together. All right, so great job, you guys. Just giving you some cool, different ideas here, some dual tasking ideas as we exercise. Got a couple more movements for us in 3, 2, and 1. All right, very good. So another important part of our physical functioning, all right, is our balance. So we're gonna do a couple different balance movements. And again, here's why I like to have a non-rolling chair. I might need that chair as a support, and I'll just show you guys. This chair is more like a safety net than a crutch. So I'm not gonna be putting all my weight into this, but I'll have it here just in case I need it. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna move it to the side just to show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with something we call a tandem stance. But before moving to the tandem stance, we're gonna kind of move in steps. All right, so we'll do a semi-tandem stance. Okay, so my feet are kind of in front of each other, but not on a tightrope. All right, so they're kind of in front of each other, and I'll turn this to the side just so you can see. My feet are semi-tandem or partially in front of each other, but not in a perfect line. All right, so we're gonna start in that semi-tandem stance, and my chair is gonna be here if I need it. We're gonna start in this semi-tandem stance, and I'm gonna have my hands free. That way I can grab the chair if I need it. But if I really wanna challenge myself and I feel comfortable, I can have my hands on my hips. And we're just gonna hold this position for a few seconds. Make sure you breathe, don't hold your breath. And in a couple more seconds, we're gonna switch feet. So we're still doing a semi-tandem stance, but we're gonna switch feet in 3, 2, 1, very good. So I'm switching feet, the other foot is ahead. Again, I'm not in a tightrope, so notice I'm not in a perfect line with my feet here, but I'm semi-tandem. So feet kind of close together, one in front of the other. Again, hands free or hands on hips. Semi-tandem stance for a couple more seconds here. And 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna switch feet again. So now the other foot is ahead. All right, again, not in a tightrope. All right, but semi-tandem stance. Again, that chair is available if I need to grab onto it. Now this time, we're gonna remove our vision from our balance. All right, so again, the chair is right near you if you need to grab onto it. And I'm just gonna shut my eyes in 3, 2, 1, shutting my eyes. If I feel comfortable, I can have my hands on my hips. If I feel more comfortable, my hands can be free, grabbing the chair. In 3, 2, 1, open your eyes. Very good, we're gonna switch. So other foot ahead. We're gonna close our eyes in 3, 2, 1, eyes closed. Hands can be on your hips if you feel comfortable. Hands can be free, able to grab the chair if you need it. Remember, listen to your body. And if you need to open your eyes and adjust, please feel free to do so. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open your eyes, very good. So you might have felt a difference, eyes open versus eyes closed, right? So eyes are one of the systems that we use to balance. There's a couple different systems. And when we close our eyes, we're kind of testing the systems a little bit harder, okay? So let's move to the next level, which is the actual tandem stance. So that's gonna be one foot directly ahead of each other, kind of on a tightrope. Again, hands can be on a chair, or if you wanna challenge yourself, hands can be free. Eyes will be open this time, right? Now, before we start this one, I just want to note, remember, we can modify this exercise to be done seated, all right? So again, feet are directly in front of each other, hands are on hips, or hands are free if you feel more comfortable as we do a tandem stance, okay? All right, so I'm gonna have one foot ahead of the other. Feel free, hands free or hands on the chair. In 3, 2, 1. Remember, eyes open. We're just maintaining this position for a little bit. And notice and feel your body. You might be shifting a little left and right as the body tries to maintain balance. This is one of the things we test here as part of that motor testing that we do at the beginning of the program, just to get a gauge of where you stand, literally, before you start the program. All right, very good. And then we're gonna reset. We're gonna have the other foot ahead. All right. Again, hands can be free, hands can be on the chair or the hips as we challenge our balance again. Remember, eyes stay open this round. And make sure you're breathing as well. And 3, 2, 1. All right, coming back. All right, you know what's next? Before we did eyes closed. We got to do eyes closed again. So again, I want to urge you have that chair nearby you, and maybe where you're exercising, maybe the wall is a little bit easier. All right, just to demonstrate, I can do this movement on the wall, meaning I have the wall as my support. So I'm still having one foot in front of the other, and I'm using the wall for a support versus a chair. So whatever's more comfortable for you, that might even be like a stable counter that's not rocking, right? You just want to have something that's a safety net, is what I call it. And if you really want to challenge your balance, you can just have your hands on your hips. All right, so let's start with one foot ahead of the other. In that tightrope, in this tandem stance, hands can be free, ready to grab the chair, or hands can be on your hips. And this time we're closing the eyes in 3, 2, 1, eyes closed. Ooh, I'm feeling this one. How about you guys? You might feel your body shifting as you try to balance. And eyes open in 3, 2, 1, eyes open. Whew, that was a tough one. All right, we're gonna do the other leg ahead. Okay, so switch feet, other leg ahead. And remember, at any point, if you need to adjust, feel free, open your eyes, grab the chair, grab the wall, whatever that safety net is. All right, but we're doing that other leg ahead. We're gonna close our eyes in 3, 2, 1, and close. And 3, 2, 1, open. All right, very good. How was that? Was that a little bit challenging? Like I said, even for me, I'm feeling that shifting as my body's trying to adjust and make micro movements to try to keep myself upright. Okay, that's good. That's your body's natural way of working. You're working against that shift, those shifts, okay, and allowing yourself to maintain that balance. All right, very good. Let's march in place, just kind of reset and do our active rest here. Remember, anytime you need it, you grab water, rehydrate, and come back in. So today's not too long of a workout. I just want to show you some different important things that we work on, some dual tasking, a little bit of balance, all right, as we strengthen our bodies. Workouts don't have to look like only lifting weights or only doing something that you deem boring or repetitive. Be creative. Make sure it's something that you actually enjoy. That way you can stick with it, all right? Whether it's going for a walk, walking with a friend, maybe you can add in some of that dual tasking. Maybe between the two of you, you can do math problems, right? And you don't have to do it all the time, but it's just a potential added benefit that you might try. All right, shake it out, shake it out, shake out the arms. All right, very good. I'm gonna get this chair back out of the way here. And remember, our next and last movement before our cool down can be done seated or standing. All right, so what I want us to do is gonna be another form of dual tasking, but more of that motor dual tasking. So what that means is I'm gonna be doing two different physical movements at the same time. So what I'm gonna do a squat and a punch, okay? So what that looks like is I'm squatting and punching, squatting and punching, all right? So we actually know boxing is actually a really good method of dual tasking. And boxing is not only throwing punches at random, but there's specific movements and specific punches that need to be memorized. One of our trainers here, one of my colleagues, that's his specialty. He teaches boxing, and he comes from a background of boxing with Parkinson's. So we know that Parkinson's patients actually have a added benefit as you do this form of dual tasking. In 3, 2, and 1. All right, very good. Back to marching in place. We're gonna do that one more time. And for my next set, I'm actually gonna do that movement seated just to show you. Again, this can be done seated or standing. Give ourselves about 10 more seconds of our active rest. 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. For our next set, I'll be seated. And my squat, what that squat looks like is I'm pushing my weight into my heels. I'm pushing forward. And when I come up, I throw that punch, pushing forward and throw the other hand. All right, so let's keep going. Seated or standing, again with that, with that tongue twister. Ready, and let's go. Remember to continue breathing as you move. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Very good. We're marching in place one last time. I hope you guys enjoyed today's workout. We'll do a nice cool down and then we'll wrap things up. All right. Remember, dual tasking can be a method, if you choose, that could slow down cognitive decline. And it's up to you to be creative. There's many, many different ways and different games that you can do at the same time as you exercise, all right? Great. And 3, 2, 1. Very good. Shake it out. All right, let's do our cool down. I'm gonna come up close just so you can see my movements here. So the first thing we're gonna do, I'm just gonna take my arm. I'm gonna bring that arm across my body. I'm gonna hug it in a little closer just to get a nice stretch in the shoulder. We'll hold that for a few seconds. Making sure you're breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Same thing, other side. Bring that arm all the way across. Hold that arm in. Getting a nice good stretch. Sometimes you can wiggle the fingers, get that blood flow even through the forearm. And 3, 2, 1, release. Very good. Remember, these can be done seated or standing. All right, next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see. I'm gonna extend my arm, okay? My hand is gonna be, my palm rather, is gonna be facing upwards. And I'm gonna take my fingers and pull them gently down. And as you do that, you're gonna feel all along your forearm, okay? So as I pull gently down, you'll feel that stretch all along your forearm. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Same thing, other side. So extend that arm, rotate, and gently pull those fingers back. It's not often that we stress the forearm out, right? But it's really important, okay? All these small muscles and somewhat big muscles need attention, need strengthening, need stretching. 3, 2, and 1. Shake out the arms, shake out the arms. Next thing I want us to do, hand on hip, other hand is gonna go up and over as we extend and hold a stretch. And coming back, you should feel that all along your side. Let's switch sides. And coming back and shake it out. Let's do a couple for our lower body, all right? So I'm gonna go seated. And if you would like, we can all go seated here if you have a chair. I can show you a standing one in case you don't have a chair, but I'm gonna extend my foot forward. Okay, my toe is pointed upwards. I'll turn to the side so you can see. And I'm just gonna stretch and reach. Okay, everybody has different flexibility, so you might be able to touch your toes. You might not, that's okay. Allow your body to tell you how far you can reach, all right? And if I'm standing, all right, this takes a little bit of balance, so I would use that chair or that wall again. I have my chair nearby me. I'm stepping that same foot out, and I'm stretching and reaching. I have one hand on that chair or that wall, all right? So stretching and reaching, up to you. Okay, let's do that same side one more time. Stretch and reach, seated or standing. With your toes pointed upwards, you'll feel a nice stretch in that back of your leg there, right in that calf muscle. And coming up, let's do that same stretch on the opposite side. So I'll move my chair just so you can see. Stretching the opposite leg. Again, remembering to breathe through this stretch. You don't want to hold your breath. Three, two, one. Coming back up. Shake it out, shake it out. Shake out the arms. And guess what, folks? We just completed another workout. I appreciate you guys. I'm so glad that I was able to exercise with you, and I'm glad that you were able to take part in it. So I hope you guys learned a couple tips. Again, nice and easy tips that you can take with you. Show your friends, show off that you can go through the alphabet and give different words while you exercise. All right, but thank you so much. We'll see you next time.